Imagine for a moment that you were born thousands of years ago, standing under a night sky untouched by city lights. The stars stretch endlessly above you, mysterious and silent. A storm rolls across the horizon. Thunder shakes the ground. You feel small, curious, and perhaps a little afraid. Without telescopes, without laboratories, without centuries of accumulated scientific knowledge, the world must have seemed filled with unseen forces and hidden intentions. In such a world, it is not difficult to understand why human beings began telling stories about the powers behind nature. These stories, gradually shaped by culture and tradition, became what we now recognize as religion. The purpose of exploring religion in modern society is not to attack people who believe, nor to dismiss traditions that have existed for thousands of years. Rather, it is to understand how these ideas emerged, why they became so powerful, and how they continue to shape human behavior today. When we approach the subject calmly and thoughtfully, it becomes less a battlefield of opinions and more an opportunity to understand something deeply human. Human beings are natural storytellers. Our brains evolved to search for patterns, causes, and intentions. When something happens, we instinctively ask why. Why did the storm arrive? Why did the crops fail? Why does illness strike some people, but not others? Long before modern science offered explanations, early humans answered these questions through narratives about spirits, gods, and supernatural forces guiding events. From the perspective of evolutionary biology, this tendency may not be surprising. Our ancestors survived partly because they were highly alert to possible dangers. If the grass moved suddenly, it was safer to assume there might be a predator hiding there rather than ignoring it. A mind that sometimes sees intention where none exists can actually be useful in dangerous environments. Over time, this sensitivity to agency may have contributed to the development of beliefs about invisible forces shaping the world. Another feature of human evolution is our extraordinary ability to cooperate in large groups. Humans are social creatures who depend heavily on trust and shared values. Religion often functions as a powerful social glue. When people believe they are accountable to the same moral authority, whether divine or symbolic, cooperation can become easier. Shared rituals, ceremonies, and moral teachings can strengthen group identity and encourage behavior that benefits the community. History offers many examples of religion playing this social role. Religious communities have built schools, hospitals, and charitable institutions. In many places, religious gatherings provide not only spiritual guidance, but also friendship, support, and a sense of belonging. For individuals facing loss or uncertainty, religious rituals can offer comfort and emotional stability. These human experiences should not be ignored when discussing the role of religion in society. At the same time, ideas have consequences, and not all consequences are beneficial. When beliefs become immune to questioning, they can sometimes discourage curiosity or critical thinking. This is not unique to religion. Any system of ideas can become rigid if it treats its conclusions as beyond examination. However, religious beliefs often carry a special authority because they are presented as sacred truths rather than human interpretations. To understand why this matters, it helps to think about how knowledge progresses. Modern science operates through a method that encourages doubt and testing. Scientists propose explanations, gather evidence, and revise their theories when new information appears. This process is slow and sometimes messy, but it has transformed our understanding of the universe. We now know that the Earth orbits the Sun, that life evolved over billions of years, and that the atoms in our bodies were forged in ancient stars. These discoveries did not arrive all at once. They emerged gradually as evidence accumulated and old assumptions were questioned. The strength of science lies not in claiming certainty, but in its willingness to correct itself. Religious traditions often approach knowledge differently. Many rely on texts or doctrines written in historical contexts, very different from the modern world. These texts can contain profound reflections on morality, purpose, and human relationships. But when they make claims about the natural world, they sometimes conflict with scientific evidence discovered centuries later. Consider the example of evolution. The theory of evolution by natural selection explains how complex organisms can arise through gradual changes over immense periods of time. Fossils, genetic data, and comparative anatomy all support this explanation. Yet in some communities, the idea of evolution has faced resistance because it appears to challenge traditional interpretations of creation. This conflict is not simply about biology. It reflects a deeper question about how humans decide what counts as reliable knowledge. Should we rely primarily on ancient texts, on authority, or on evidence gathered through observation and experiment? Different societies answer this question in different ways, and the results shape education, politics, and culture. Another reason religion remains influential is its response to existential questions. Human beings are aware that their lives are finite. We know that death will eventually come to everyone we love and to ourselves. This awareness can be deeply unsettling. Religious traditions often provide narratives that promise meaning beyond the limits of a single lifetime. For many people, these ideas offer comfort and hope. Yet comfort does not necessarily guarantee accuracy. A simple thought experiment illustrates the point. Imagine someone who believes a magical shield protects them from illness. The belief might reduce their anxiety, but unless the shield actually exists, it will not prevent disease. In matters concerning the natural world, accurate understanding tends to be more reliable than comforting assumptions. At the same time, science does not claim to answer every question humans care about. Science is extremely effective at explaining how things work, but it does not automatically tell us how we should live. Questions about values, ethics, and meaning often extend beyond the scope of laboratory experiments. Philosophers, writers, and religious thinkers have all contributed to these conversations. Modern societies often attempt to balance these different sources of understanding. In many countries, political systems separate religious authority from government power. This arrangement allows individuals to practice their beliefs freely while preventing any single religious doctrine from controlling public policy. It is not always a perfect system, but it reflects an attempt to respect diversity in large and complex societies. Technology has also transformed the environment in which beliefs develop. Today, a person with an internet connect can explore ideas from cultures across the planet. This exposure sometimes strengthens faith, sometimes encourages skepticism, and sometimes leads to entirely new perspectives. Belief systems like languages or technologies, evolve as they interact with changing circumstances. We might even think of ideas as undergoing a kind of cultural evolution. In biological evolution, genetic variations spread through populations when they enhance survival or reproduction. In cultural evolution, ideas spread when they resonate with people, offer useful explanations, or provide emotional comfort. Some ideas endure for centuries, while others gradually disappear as new evidence or new perspectives emerge. Religion itself has changed repeatedly throughout history. Practices that were once central may become symbolic over time. Interpretations of sacred texts shift as societies gain new knowledge. In this sense, religion is not a fixed relic, but part of an ongoing cultural conversation that continues to evolve. One of the most important challenges in discussing religion is maintaining respect for people while examining ideas critically. Beliefs can be deeply personal, often tied to family traditions and cultural identity. Yet ideas like scientific hypotheses can still be evaluated thoughtfully. Criticizing an idea does not require attacking the character of those who hold it. Intellectual honesty also requires acknowledging the limits of our knowledge. Despite extraordinary progress in science, many mysteries remain. We still seek deeper understanding of consciousness, the origins of the universe, and the nature of reality itself. A genuine commitment to knowledge includes the humility to admit when we do not yet have complete answers. When we step back and observe the broader picture, religion's impact on modern society appears neither purely positive nor purely negative. It has inspired compassion, art, and social cooperation. It has also sometimes contributed to conflict or resistance to new ideas. The outcome depends greatly on how beliefs are interpreted and applied in specific contexts. Perhaps the most constructive path forward is one guided by curiosity rather than certainty. Instead of asking whether religion must disappear or whether science must dominate every aspect of life, we might ask how human societies can cultivate both compassion and critical thinking. Evidence can guide our understanding of the natural world, while ethical reflection can help us decide how to use that knowledge responsibly. Human civilization is still very young in the grand timeline of the universe. Our species has existed for only a tiny fraction of Earth's history, and scientific knowledge has expanded dramatically in just the last few centuries. The ideas we hold today will likely continue to change as new discoveries emerge. What remains constant is the human desire to understand, whether through ancient myths, philosophical reflection, or modern scientific research. People have always tried to make sense of the world and their place within it. The conversation between belief, evidence, and curiosity is unlikely to end anytime soon. And perhaps that is not a problem to solve. And perhaps that is not a problem to solve, but a journey to continue, one in which the most valuable qualities may be patience, openness, and the quiet courage to ask questions, even when the answers are uncertain.